so much, Machinmay. That was beautiful. And your song really, your singing really transports us to another dimension, I think. That was really very beautiful. We'll take questions now. So there
Yes.
are a couple of questions here already.
Yes.
Mr. Gul says you beautifully explained the Anahat and Ahat Nada. And also, he says he wants to know, is there an easy way to overcome the fear of singing in front of an audience?
Uh, there is the fear is all when you, where does fear come into this world? Fear comes only when you are out to show something to the outside world. You want to get an okay or get a certificate from the outside world. When you're sitting in front of an audience, if you are with yourself and you are able to sing by yourself totally with the song, with the theme of the song, with the feel of the song and the emotion of the song, the whole world just does not matter. You can sit in front of the whole audience, be with your music, be completely with you, and sing. And I can write and give it to you that you will transmit not only to yourself, but to the whole world your thought of joy and happiness that you want to give to the world with your voice. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, I think so. I think that.
Fear is a feeling which comes only when you want to satisfy somebody else, and you don't have to be, you just don't have to think of the evaluation that people are doing about your music. Just don't get into that. Always think you're a student. Somebody tells you to sing, you're just singing. You be with that. Don't allow this outside world to affect your peace and your harmony with yourself when you're singing.
Thank you, Ma. There's
Yes.
a question. Mantras are ahat ahat nada. Is that correct, or they are what?
Mantras are ahatanada only.
Huh?
It's made by man.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. So that's okay.
The simple distinction is being made by man and being made by the world by natural. What is coming natural? But what is coming natural, when it is identified by man and put into words or in song or chant, it becomes ahatanada.
Okay, all right. Can you explain the ragas a little bit more, please?
Oh, most definitely. It's a very huge topic that I would like to just, I'll give you in gist, okay? Basically, the Carnatic music system, Hindustani music system, they all believe in different methodologies of ragas. But a raga, you can define a raga as a combination of these saptaswaras. It's a permutation combination of these saptaswaras,
Hmm.
which is set to a particular scale and which is very melodious to the ear. This is the simple layman definition. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of a scale? A scale means sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa, the seven swaras that goes ascending order and comes back sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa. This is the ascending order and the descending order of a scale. This is called the scale, which is Arohan and Avarohan. Arohan in Hindi also we know Arohan is climbing up and Avarohan is coming down. So basically, the whole game of music or the game of ragas is played between these seven swaras, these different Arohanas and Avarohanas. So each raga sounds different, has different navarasas attached to it. There are different, there's so many things in that. But basically, if you go to see, they are divided into different categories. If you take the Indian classical music, if you take Carnatic music, they have the Melagartha system of music where they have 72 main ragas and all daughter or son ragas or derivative ragas from those 72 ragas. In the Hindustani music system, they have the Thaat systems where you have 10 Thats and again you have ragas coming out of those ragas. Now, basic, what is a raga? I'll give you in a gist in the sense. Now, when you say, I'm singing Mohana or I'm singing Kalyani, Kalyani Raga or Yaman, the equivalent in Hindustani music. It's like sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa ne re ga ma dha ni sa sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa. So it's the same raga which is sung differently, different ways in both styles of music. So the same, if in there are certain ragas which have all the seven swaras, there are certain ragas which have only 5 or 6 swaras in the arohan and 5 in the avarohan. Like if you take Bhupali or Mohanam, if you take Sari Ga Pa Dha Sa Sa Dha Pa Ga Ri Sa Sa Re Ga Pa Dha Sa Re Ga Re Sa Dha Pa Ga Re. Here you can see there is no Ma, there is no Ni. The whole song runs around only with those 5 swaras. The discipline of the scale is maintained in classical music, which is the reason why it it succeeds in activating even the chakras correctly. It succeeds in healing more than if you listen to any Bollywood music or something. Even Bollywood music in those days used to be made through ragas, okay, based on ragas. But there is no hard and fast rule for the folk music or for the Bollywood music to be disciplined. This discipline in classical music or Shastriya Sangeeta is what sets it apart. The emotions of the different swaras, the emotions of the feel, as you should say. Like, for example, if you talk about Mohanam, it's a Shringara Rasa Raga or a Karuna Bhava. Certain ragas have the Bhakti Bhava, the Karuna Rasa, the Karuna Bhava and stuff. So what happens when you sing those ragas correctly with the same bhava, you do the alap and the tams and everything, it sets you to that mood of bhakti or karuna. The same thing if you take some other raga like Vasanta or Natai, they say, Samagammadhani sa sanira bhagare sa. There's a Veera rasa which comes, like when you want a lot of activity, you want a little vibration to be increased, activity to. So the different ragas have different moods. If you take a Bhairav, if you take a Sindhu Bhairavi, for instance, so many songs are there which kind of, it's like end. Sindhu Bhairavi and Madhyamavati are ragas which are used to end a particular concert and let them be, So what happens? It brings you back to a standstill state and you're ready to go back to the world of haves and have-nots after enjoying a full 3-hour concert. Then it's a message without saying, hello, it's time to go. You must come back to this world. So these are the different moods and different things. I can go on.
Thank you so much. And Sunita says, beautiful session. Meera Sheshadri says, lovely session. Thank you. And really, we had a really scintillating, evening with you and learned so much about music. I didn't know about Shabda Nada and Spoda. And all the other explanations that you did for us was very, very interesting. And when you talked about the 7 swaras as the base of everything, of musical instruments and, where everything comes from, it was very, very enlightening. Thank you so much. We learned so much and you have a beautiful voice. It's very, very peaceful and it touches our hearts as well. Thank you so much.
It's entirely my pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. So I'd just like to make a few announcements for our upcoming programs. On Friday, 16th October, we have Shri Ishwaran Ji speaking to us about Bhakti Yoga. And on Sunday, 18th October, we have a yoga program by Umesh Dagat Ji starting at 7 a.m. This is done in conjunction with the School of Ancient Wisdom, and it's based on boosting your immunity. At Rithambara, we look forward to your presence every week on Tuesdays and Fridays and Sundays, where we bring you interesting topics on holistic wellness and the arts delivered by a host of distinguished, knowledgeable speakers. Thank you once again for your presence and participation today from all of us at Rithambara. Thank you once again, Ma Chinmay.
Thank you very much.